What up, man? This is, I guess this is the first of our, I guess we're going to call this a podcast series. Is this what we're going to do?
Ooh, yes.
Are we going to go with the Infield chatter since we already got that logo? It
I love it.
just roll with
I
it.
love it. Yeah, I like it.
Cool, cool. So I guess the whole point of this is to kind of look into the mind of you and I and just kind of give, I don't even know if we're going to do this on a daily basis, a weekly basis, or whatnot, but just kind of talk about the current state of things and just kind of talk about whatever's on our mind at the moment, and just have fun with it, man. I'm kind of excited. I've been wanting to do this for a long, long time. I've been pestering you about it, and I think we're finally ready to pull the trigger. So
I'm excited too. My wife has been telling me for years, why don't you do some sort of podcast? Do a podcast. You should get into podcasting.
well, the cool thing too about doing it this way is we've kind of talked about this in the past, where when you do a podcast and you record it video wise, we can put this on YouTube. We can chop it up and distribute it across TikTok and Instagram and throw the audio wherever we need to go and just kind of do whatever we want with it. Eventually, maybe making this a live stream, which I think would be kind of cool because then we can field questions and yeah. But so I guess let's just kick things off, man. What's on your mind? What do you got? What do you got going on right now? Give me a glimpse into the mind of Trumanation right now.
What's on my mind right now is we talk about it all the time. We're baseball guys, right? And it's one of my favorite times of the year because we got a whole slew of freshmen that are coming in, right? A whole slew of freshmen at a junior college. We only get guys for 2 years, so getting a lot of new guys right now, getting a chance to meet a lot of new faces. I always get excited this time of the year for our upcoming season, although we still got a long way to go. But you know, at the junior college level, we don't have restrictions like they do at NCAA. We can practice, we can inter-squad, we can scrimmage as much as we want in the fall time. So my mind is set on that right now. And I was kind of telling my stream last night, I was super fired up because first time that I've been back, which is 3 years now. This is my third year of coaching at the college level. We have about 8 to 10 international freshmen, a lot of Dominicans, a big kid from the Czech Republic. None of these kids have cars. On move-in day, these kids, our field is away from campus, about a mile and a half away from campus. These kids, it was 98 degrees outside. They dropped all their shit off in their room, just threw it in the middle of the room on move-in day, came straight to the field, walked to the field, and jumped in the cages immediately and hit. I haven't seen that once, especially from freshmen in my 3 years that we were here. And Coach and I were just talking about, setting that culture and tone and all that good stuff is awesome to see. So that's what I've been thinking about lately. I've been thinking about that and watching my crummy Rockies. So, what about you?
Well, for those that don't know, who may be listening, where is it that you coach?
Yeah, so Northeastern Junior College in Sterling, Colorado. So small junior college. Not one of the premier junior college regions in the U.S. You got obviously Arizona. You got Central Arizona in the fall. They're going and beating ASU and U of A every year. And you got your California JUCOs, and in the South. So we're the launching pad region. Like Coors Field. If you want to be a pitcher, don't come to Region 9 where I'm at. So
Nice. So you're a JUCO coach by day, base running extraordinaire on MLB The Show at night.
Extraordinaire, absolutely, absolutely.
I guess we're not in your Twitch chat right now, so I can't spam the exclamation point ass.
That's the best command on Twitch.
That totally is. Right on. So you're during the daytime, you're just knee deep in JUCO baseball. What is it that you do with your JUCO? What position do you hold?
Yeah, so I do a little bit of everything. This fall, I'm going to be with the pitchers a lot. That's what I did in college. I was a PO, and I just love slamming fungos around too. So I'll be with the outfielders a little bit, but definitely going to be around the pitchers and catchers a lot this fall in particular. So
no wonder you're ass at base running. Got it.
Exactly.
POs, we don't. I was the same thing, and I used to pitch we never got to hit at all. Even though it's funny at our JUCO, I went to JUCO for about a year, and I don't even think I went to one class, to be honest.
But you're an athlete student at JUCO. That's
totally. I think there was probably 3 or 4 of our POs that actually could hit better than most of our lineup. Ooh. And so those days where for all the pitchers got to take BP was always fun, because they'd always show up all the position players, and the coach would say, "There's no shot you're getting in the lineup." I remember my cousin. My cousin was like one of the best hitters on the team, and he never got to sniff the.
And he was a PO.
And he was a PO. Yeah, he ended up pitching at San Bernardino, and he never got to bat. Kid used to hit bombs.
You want to know what's funny about that, Jeremy? I think we're going to, we have a man in Major League Baseball that that a lot of people might be familiar with, named Shohei Ohtani. Shohei, I think, he's obviously changing the game in many ways, but I think what a lot of people don't realize is those people that you're alluding to right now, your former teammates that weren't allowed to hit back then, I think we are about to start seeing a slew of two-way players coming up. Obviously, a lot of people do in high school. A lot of guys hit and play the field. It's rare that you're just a PO in high school, right? Mm-hmm. But usually at the college level, they make you choose one or the other, right? I think we're gonna see a lot of two-ways coming up.
Really? You think so?
A way that Shohei has changed the game at lower levels that people don't realize. I don't think he's going to be the last unicorn that hits and pitches in Major League Baseball. I think that teams are starting to see how valuable that is, and if guys are excelling in both, they're not going to take the bat out of a pitcher's hand that can hit, or vice versa. I think we're going to start getting that opportunity.
I don't know, man. I think I would probably a little bit disagree with you there. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because you got a guy that can hit as good as he does, pitch as good as he does. Right. I mean, what always fascinates me too is I guess is kind of a roundabout disagreement, but you got guys that are switch hitters. Like, do you know how hard it is to hit at the major league level from one side of the plate? And these guys can do it from both.
Yeah.
And then you got a guy like Shohei who, to pitch at a major league level, especially at the level that he is, where he's probably, one of the best pitchers in the league and also one of the best hitters in the league. There's guys that their entire job is to just hit, and he's beating them out.
Yeah.
So, unicorn. Yeah, for people coming up, I think it's I don't think we're gonna see it very often, because if I come in, let's hypothetically say there's another guy coming in that is a good hitter, a good pitcher, to be at that level, to perform that well at one specific task is hard as it is. And you've got, like, let's say you got a top-notch pitcher who's trying to also hit and is on the brink. Like, let's use Rick Ankiel. Remember him?
Yep.
So you got Rick Ankiel,
got the yips.
Got the
yips.
Bat in
his hand, he could hit a little bit,
Yeah, but once you start focusing on one specific thing, you end up becoming a master at that craft. How many players can allocate that much time to 2 different tasks and be that good?
That's very true.
I find it really hard.
I should, I guess, take back a little bit what I say and maybe word it as we might have a lot more guys trying.
There you go.
Shohei does. There we go. Maybe that's what I should say. We might have a lot more try to do what Shohei does. It's going to be obviously extremely rare to have them excel like he does at both. But, we might have some that try. But you're right. I mean, that's why what he's doing is so unreal. Because you essentially have 2 all-star players in one. It's absolutely insane. It's crazy. And if he's doing what he's doing year in and year out and putting up, even serviceable numbers, doing both, then I think he should be in the top 3 of the MVP every year, essentially. I think Aaron Judge is that guy this year, obviously. Aaron Judge is that guy in the AL this year. But how can you not say that? Let's say Shohei Ohtani has a 3.5 ERA. Good, pretty good. I'll even say a 3.75. Not bad. Sub 4. And let's say he hits 20 bombs. 20 bombs, 3.75. That's still unreal because you have one guy doing both at still a fairly good level. Although again, if it's just a pitcher with a 3.75, pretty good, but
Yeah.
Not pretty average as well.
I guess something that always kind of drives me crazy when I see like the whole MVP voting. What like who created the stipulations for being an MVP? Like an MVP is different to every single person, right? Like you can argue that Shohei is doing it at an elite level on the mound and at the plate. So wouldn't he be the most valuable player? But a lot of times you see these guys vote for guys that just have, high totals of home runs or, WAR and all these other stats. There's too many. I guess MVP is subjective depending on who you talk to. It's so difficult.
It totally is. Because then you're also going to have those people that are going to say, well, the Angels stink. So how can Shohei be the MVP when, the Angels are at the bottom of a, average division in baseball?
So many factors come into play.
Yeah, there's so many factors. It's just, what is an MVP? What would it be to you then? If you had a vote, what would factor in to being an MVP in Major League Baseball?
That's an extremely tough question,
and my on the spot there.
And my answer honestly is I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's clear cut enough. I think you can argue for many different things, and I think there's too many variables that come into play to be able to say like this is the MVP, unless Major League Baseball comes out and puts together a set of guidelines and bylaws and says like, okay, these are the things that you have to do to qualify and kind of creates some type of framework. We're always going to have these fun, meaningful disagreements on MVP races and stuff like that because everybody's idea is a little bit different and there is no clear cut, like this is how we vote and these players follow these things. So to answer your question, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I agree with you. The one point that I'd like to make about it is just kind of going back to what I was just talking about. I wish that, again, team record factored less into MVP. MVP is winning a league MVP is such an individual award. And this isn't basketball. You can throw LeBron James, on the Orlando Magic. And they're going to be a playoff team. Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout are arguably the two best players in baseball. They're on the same team and they stink. Baseball is the one sport where one guy, can't affect directly the win-loss record compared to any other sport. So I think in baseball in particular, I hate the argument of, these guys stink. How could he be the MVP when they stink? It's like, Shohei can't play all 9 positions and, pitch every single day of the week and throw all 9 innings. It's like, come on.
How about that year? And you know me, I'm a Dodger fan. Despite the Giants jersey over my shoulder here. But how about the year that Barry Bonds had? I don't remember if he won the MVP that one year, but you got a guy like Bonds who played on a bunch of crappy teams. Who put up insane numbers. He was walked a million times and still hit a home run every time he was at the plate. Like you have things like that. It's so hard to dictate who an MVP is. I don't know how these writers and these voters actually do it. I don't know how. I feel for them, man. It's got to be one of the hardest things.
It's got to be. And I mean, they catch so much flack, but
hey,
I hate to turn the tides like this, but I got to ask because you brought it up. Yes or no? Yes or no? Barry Bonds, best player of all time. Yes or no?
Yes or no question?
Yes or no? Barry Bonds, best player to ever don a Major League Baseball uniform. And if no, who is?
Okay, so here's my argument: is
what
is your definition of greatest player of all time? Because that might be different from from what I think is the best. So again, it's subjective, right? Like. I'll give you this.
It's like the MVP voting, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll give you this. I couldn't stand Barry Bonds. Definitely the greatest hitter of all time, hands down. I'm not afraid to admit that. And defensively, he was awesome too.
Early.
Yeah. And then he got too big. He couldn't run. But you think of all time greats, you got to put Bonds up there. Do you put a guy like McGuire up there? McGuire played first base. Did they win any World Series? Did he help his team get better?
It's so tough. I mean, I wouldn't put a guy like Mark McGuire towards the top, but it's also so hard to say because, like, you know, the people that would answer that question with Babe Ruth, I would say, okay, if I was born 100 years earlier, I'd probably be in the big leagues pitching to Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, that's the thing that makes it so tough is, like, you know, dudes are facing Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw nowadays. Babe Ruth would have hit below the Mendoza line in 2022.
Yeah.
You know? That's what makes these conversations so tough.
Bless you.
Whew, thought I had to sneeze. But yeah, I mean, that's what makes it so tough. It's like, you know, Babe Ruth did all that he did while, you know, having a pack of smokes and 12 hot dogs a game, but he was playing against plumbers. But, you know, I do think Barry Bonds is the greatest of all time, though. I mean, like, you look at his baseball reference page and it's just like, it's actually insane. Like,
yeah.
it's like, it looks like playing MLB The Show, like literally a Road to the Show character on his baseball. It's insane.
Who's your all-time favorite?
My all-time favorite.
Who's your all-time favorite player? If you could have dinner with one dude to pick his brain, past or present, who would it be?
I might answer those two questions differently, to be honest with you. So my
fair.
favorite
That's
player
fair.
of all time is Carlos Gonzalez.
Okay.
That's my favorite of all time. But if I could sit down and like, you know, hang out or talk or eat dinner with one player, oh my gosh.
That's actually a tough one. That's a tough one. Past or present.
Tough. I'd probably go deep into the past. I would probably want to see what the game of baseball, like I'd almost consider answering like Babe Ruth on that, almost like guy we were just talking about, just because, you know, he is like, he's arguably like the biggest icon in baseball history. Like, you could pluck somebody out of a crowd that doesn't know anything about baseball, and like people know who Babe Ruth is, oddly enough, right? I think I'd answer him. You know, I'd love to just sit and like watch what the game looked like way back then and how different it was, and you know, yeah, that'd probably be my answer for that. What about you? You could talk to one player.
If I could talk to one player, past or present. God, I was a pitcher, man, and I used to love watching the Braves pitch. I was not a Braves fan, but I used to try to mimic Tom Glavine.
Yeah.
That was I'm a lefty too, so I used to try to mimic his mechanics and everything. He was my favorite pitcher. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say I'd love to sit down with Greg Maddux.
There you go.
Just because I never threw hard. I had a lot of movement on my ball from the left side, and I would love to know how the hell he threw frisbees up there like he did. That guy had such nasty movement. I'd probably say Greg Maddux or Pedro Martinez.
Yep, I like that. And the crazy thing about Maddux too, like you were talking about, he's throwing frisbees with pinpoint control.
Oh, insane!
Literally, that man couldn't walk the ball up to the plate better than he was throwing it. Unreal. Yeah. The greatest dot artist of all time.
Yeah. Favorite player of all time, I'm going to have to go Sean Green.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's an interesting one.
Sean Green.
Sean Green. And I'll tell you why.
Another lefty for you. There you go.
Yeah. So it was funny. A friend of mine, we ditched school one day. We went to the Oakland Coliseum back at Sean Green's rookie year when he was with the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And we were sitting at the right field foul pole at the shitty Oakland A's Coliseum, front row. And Miguel Tejada hit an absolute line drive seed down the right field line. It was coming right at us. And we were looking down at the foul pole. It hits the fence and stops. Sean Green comes over, and he did, you know how you're taught to, as a lefty, you're taught to grab the ball on the left side of your foot and throw. No crow hop or anything.
Yep.
We looked down onto the field and watched him pick the ball up, no crow hop, and throw an absolute laser to second base to hose Tejada from getting a double.
Man.
And we both looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, that was an absolute seed. And then he goes on to hit like 52 or 53 home runs his rookie year.
Yeah.
And we were just like, oh my God, it's my favorite player. And always kind of stayed quiet, was very stoic. I kind of loved his demeanor on the field. Then he got traded. I think it was after his rookie year, he got traded to the Dodgers. And I started following him with the Dodgers. That's how I became a Dodger fan.
Yeah.
I used to be a Giants fan back in the days. I used to root for, Matt Williams and Will Clark Used to go to Candlestick all the time for games.
Candlestick.
Yeah, the Stick, man, that was a terrible place. Everywhere in the Bay is terrible.
They shared that with the Niners, right?
Yeah,
The Niners played a Candlestick too. Yeah.
yeah, that place. I mean, you sit anywhere in the second deck or above, and it's like you're sitting in hurricane winds. It was terrible. Right there at Candlestick Point, the wind just whipped through there. It was so bad. But
Is it as good as the third deck at Oakland A's Coliseum though?
not as good as recently.
I'm glad
I knew you were going.
I'm glad okay, good.
I actually just saw a headline. They're actually trying to investigate and like.
I know.
I'm like, no chance.
Still looking into that. I'm like, you can't tell who that is. Come on, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't want to say anything on this podcast, but if you know, you know. The third deck.
You know.
Yeah, the third deck at the Oakland Coliseum is where the magic happens.
Probably know by now.
I don't think there was a video floating around a long time ago too, where there was a couple in the upper deck. Instead of doing what they were doing the other day at the Oakland Coliseum, the guy was actually doing it.
Oh my god!
And
some people are very bold.
Yeah. I guess if you want to go viral, you know what to do.
Whew. Man.
But yeah, it's crazy, man. Major League Baseball, baseball in general, man, it's such a fun game.
It is.
I love that you're a coach. I had a brief coaching stint for a little bit. I ended up getting fired from high school, and it's one of those things where I still remember the exact moment I wanted to coach, and it's funny. It's actually shaped who I am today. I can pinpoint it's like one specific instance where it kind of shaped me into who I am with wanting to help others, and it was a feeling that I got from helping a kid when was this? It's about 15 years ago. I went out to the local Pony League field, which is 13, 14 year olds. And I went out there to go talk to a guy about running a camp because I had this idea. I was like, hey, I want to run some camps for these young kids to teach them fundamentals. And nobody was teaching. Right. I felt like kids were being underserved and didn't know fundamentals and stuff. So I went out there to talk to this guy who was running this camp. And he was like, hey, I need some help really quick. Can you go coach first base? And I was like, oh, shit. Never coached before. I've been around baseball my whole life. I knew what the hell's going on, but I had never.
The game, yeah.
Never coached before. So I'm at first base. Kid gets on, give him a high five, and another kid got on, and there was less than 2 outs. And so kind of looked at the kid and I said, hey, on a pass ball, you got to be careful. Make sure the runner in front of you goes. You don't want to run him off the bag, right? Shuffle, correct. And to check the runner in front of you. 13-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Very next pitch, ball in dirt, gets away from the catcher. The runner at first shuffles, looks at the guy at second base. He doesn't go, and he scrambles back. And he looks at me, and his eyes were like, holy shit, coach, I just did it. And it was literally like the very next pitch. And I'll never forget that moment. I was like, holy shit, like the feeling that I had inside, I was like, I just told this kid something. He executed it like right away and looked at me like, oh my God, coach, thank you. I just learned like instantly.
Yeah. If you didn't say that kid might have taken off and ran his teammate off the bag, and then they're out. You guys are out of that inning. You never know.
That feeling of satisfaction of like actually teaching somebody something has literally like resonated with me, and that's why I created the whole Dugout Creative thing. Was I wanted to help gamers in the community. I wanted to help guys like you and the rest of the guys, and it's my origin story, man. It's kind of weird, but it shaped who I am today. It was wild.
Well, and I mean, and you outside of the gaming and everything like that too, what you guys got going on with the Aggies too and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
You guys and your program, you guys help those guys out as well. So it's awesome as a whole what you guys do. So
yeah, it's been a blast. I definitely caught the coaching bug at that moment, and
man,
I love baseball. I love business.
Yep.
I mean, I come up with some wacky off the wall ideas and crazy and stuff like that.
My favorite thing about you, Jeremy. My favorite thing about you. Hey, what's funny is so my first year of coaching, the way that it kind of happened, just you talking about being a first base coach reminded me of all this.
Mm-hmm.
So the first year that we moved back to my JUCO town, kind of how I got into it, it was almost very random, was our head coach now was my favorite assistant coach when I played here. So like that was my guy. That was like, you always have that assistant coach that you love to death, it's cool that you talk to all the time. So he was my guy, he was the head coach. So I just, shot him a text. I was like, "Hey, I'm moving back to town, so if you ever need help with anything, I'm around, should hang out, whatever." He was like, "Hey, you want to come out and help out with the team?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" But long story short, our head assistant coach that fall ended up leaving, getting fired, whatever, and it was just me. I was the only other guy. So he was like, "Do you want to be the head assistant for this spring?" And back then my Twitch wasn't necessarily as solidified as it is now, and I loved coaching, so I was kind of at a stage where I was like, which direction do I want to go? Maybe this is a good way to find out, coaching or Twitch, whatever. But so I was the head assistant for that spring, and you talking about being first base coach. I had a very opposite experience of you.
Well, we got the base running extraordinaire right here, man. I could already tell where this is going.
Yeah, this is gonna shock you. This is about to shock you, right? So I was obviously our first base coach. I loved it. It was awesome. But first game of the spring, literally first game of the spring, I like, so our 2-hole, I think it was our 2-hole. So we're the home team, obviously. Our 2-hole.
Mm-hmm.
He hits a ball in the gap, and usually like as a first base coach, you don't, like you played, Jeremy, obviously, so like it. I mean, you shoot a ball in the gap, like you don't.
First base coaches, yeah, they don't do anything.
Yeah, they don't do anything. Like you can, like if you can get to second on your own, right, or third, whatever, ball in the gap. But so it, I guess I was being a little risky, I guess, but I was like, it was like short right field. Right fielder was a big kid, and it was just a bleeder. And I was telling our guy, I was like, go, like, I was like sending him as hard as I could. I was like, "Oh, you can totally get there."
On a blooper to right?
Like 10 feet. It was like down the right field line. The right fielder had a long way to go. It was right down the line.
Okay.
It was like it was like an MLB The Show duck fart. So. And this, like I said, this kid was a little bigger. I was like, he ain't gonna get there in time to,
And it was your 2-hole hitter.
And gun our guy out. And yeah, it was our 2-hole, so he's quick.
He's quick, yeah.
Buddy comes in and throws a linea. Our guy's out, and I'm just, coach wouldn't matter or anything. And like I said, our guy might have gone anyway. First base coaches are useless. But I was just standing there, and I was just like,
the worst feeling in the world.
Kidding me? First inning that I'm out here, man. Like, gosh, dang it. And I guess it just translated to MLB The Show, so typical, right?
Yeah. I got a better question, though. What the hell is your coach doing putting a PO as first base coach? That's the better question.
It was me and him. I don't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. It was me and him.
You'd be better off putting a bench player out there, giving him a helmet, telling him to go stand over there in the first base box.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Oh, my gosh.
No, I mean, like, it's kind of a problem, like, throughout college baseball as a whole, unless you're, like, Vanderbilt or Arizona State or, big D1. Mm-hmm. But, they just don't pay coaches. They hardly pay, head coaches all that much. But, especially at the junior college level. But then, and I used to see it in years past, but, like, I think D1s still only get, like, 1 or 2 paid assistants. Junior colleges get 1. But, I mean, they just don't pay these coaches anything. And it's a big issue. It's hard to keep guys around, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's tough at the college level, but yeah, no, you're right. They should have just sent a bench guy out there. That could have just been the bench coach.
Just like in a little league where they give you the helmet. They're like, hey, little John, you go over there and stand at first base.
Exactly.
Make sure you take your helmet.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So what else you got going on? You've been streaming MLB The Show. Your Twitch numbers are out the roof. I tune in every night and kind of watch you. I know you've been streaming a little bit earlier than you normally do, but
yeah.
How? I know the game's not in a very good place right now, but how's Twitch going for you? Seems like you're doing very well.
Yeah, it's going good. I'm just, it's everything going on over there is a blessing. So that's all I know how to call it is, it's dumb luck. I'm grateful, whatever you want to say, but the game's not in a great spot, but I plan on sticking with it, and we always talk about I'm a baseball guy, so I want to play baseball. So
You
I'm gonna
gonna
play the baseball game.
you doing anything else, or have any other ideas for different types of content or anything? You got anything
Yes.
brewing?
Yes, we got some stuff brewing that you
Anything
guys are
you
gonna
want to
see
say?
real soon.
Anything that you can disclose?
Well, Jeremy, you might know of some stuff that might be coming soon. With our good friend Patches.
Yeah,
But
I think we could probably talk about that, right?
yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I
Why
mean,
not?
we're this whole thing is kind of taking I guess this is a good segue into kind of talking about Dugout a little bit, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just kind of taking a turn. I know a lot of people were probably wondering where we've been. We kind of pushed pause on a lot of the content for a little bit and changed things up a little bit. But I'm there. It's funny. I have these moments. Like I talked about earlier with the kid at first base and
Yeah.
having that aha moment of like, holy crap, I want to be a coach. I had this moment, and you and I kind of talked about this. I'll elaborate again, but
Yeah.
I had this moment where when we first, I mean, Dugout Creative has been around for a long time. A lot of people don't know that. It's morphed from being a travel ball platform, morphed into running travel ball tournaments, to travel ball teams, to giving them uniforms and fan gear. And then COVID happened, shut everything down. We were scrambling, trying to figure out how to keep the lights on. We made a funny shirt with Joe Kelly on the front, sold thousands of those, became a merch company overnight because we had to. We were kind of forced to. And then tried to figure out how to sell more shirts, looked into the gaming community because we had ran a MLB The Show tournament for all the travel ball kids who were stuck at home. We wanted to figure out how to help keep them playing. That was our introduction into the gaming space. And then we also had this merch line that we had just dropped. And then we reached out to a couple of the streamers and fell in love with MLB The Show and the community and stuff, and then kind of jumped in head first. But one thing that I feel like we did wrong was, we had this vision. We had this vision of helping streamers and providing opportunity for you guys.
Yeah.
And I kind of I talk about this, and it really bothered me when we had. I always use the analogy, and I talked to the guys here. I was like, we had 10 guys that we kind of labeled as Dugout creators, and it's as if we let 10 guys into the office, and every single day I was getting DMs and DMs and DMs of other creators like, hey, how do I be a part of this? I love what you guys are doing. And we left them outside.
Yeah.
And we kind of said like, hey, no, this is, we're cool. We got the 10 guys in here, wait outside.
Yeah.
And to me, it went against everything that I was trying to build. I wanted to help empower and provide opportunities for guys, and yet I was excluding people.
Yeah.
And the aha moment for me was when, this is funny. I don't know if I think I maybe messaged you guys in the group chat about this, but it was the Warzone tournament. It was the hardballs and hand grenades, I think is what we called it.
Yep.
Where we ran this community tournament, and a lot of the creators that reached out to us that we had kind of turned away showed up, and they played, and they were still supportive. And it was one of those moments where I looked at it and I said, you know what? That was such a blast. We had people that loved our vision, loved what we were doing, that wanted to be a part of it, and still showed up, even though we told them no.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me sit back and realize, like, okay, what the hell are we really doing? Like, what is Dugout Creative? Are we trying to build this exclusive group of creators? And it made me kind of sit back and reanalyze everything. And I kind of come to the conclusion of, Dugout Creative is bigger than just a group of guys. It's more of a movement. It's providing a support network for somebody who's looking for help, a baseball enthusiast, somebody who needs help business wise, or needs a little bit of motivation to do something. And so we're getting ready to fire back up, and we got Patches coming on board to we're going to start doing watch parties. We want to provide a space where baseball fans and enthusiasts can come and hang out with the base running extraordinaire that is Trumanation, and the world's #1 Yankee fan, Patches, and talk a bunch of smack and hang out in a Twitch chat and just kind of vibe out and have a good time.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, and one crazy thing that you and I talked about the other day, I'm really looking forward to this, and I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this, but you know me, I come up with an idea and I just do it. And I'll figure it out along the way. I want to help people create businesses in baseball.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got a lot of business background and a lot of ideas and a lot of resources. A lot of people out there have a lot of really good ideas. And I think if we come together as a community and we kind of share things, and I can maybe help where I can and help people with some of the resources that they might not know about, we might be able to help really do some good in the baseball world. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're looking to really, I don't want to say kickstart things again because we never really left. I just think it's a different look. It's a different outlook on things. I never wanted this to be an exclusive group because it went against what the overall vision was. The overall vision was to build a community of baseball enthusiasts. And I think we did that, but I think we also excluded a lot of people that really believed in the vision. And we're gonna have to work really hard to get them to come back. I feel like we kind of pushed people away that shouldn't have been pushed away. That, you know, it's like coaching, right? Like you got a kid, you got a kid that wants to come out for your JUCO team and loves baseball, loves what you guys are doing, is working his ass off. He might not have the talent, and you're like, sorry, you're cut. Like it's the worst feeling in the world, right? Because you got a kid who's coming to you for help, and you have to turn him away. And I think we're at a position now where I think there's still a ton of people that don't have any clue what Dugout Creative is, because I've done a terrible job of explaining it. But yeah, I mean, really, really starting to put out the content about what this overall goal and mission is something that's really exciting for me.
Yeah. I love it. And that, you know, like Jeremy was saying, there's a lot of big stuff coming. You know, Dugout Creative is going to be very visible again in the community, you know, like it was last year. I mean, like you said, though, you never left. It's just more of a revamp. Facelift almost, you know.
I think what we were providing, what we provided before was, we helped bring people together, right? Like with the DCCL and some of the fun stuff that we did. You know, we kind of brought a group of guys together and gave them some opportunities to dabble in different things. Like when we went to Tampa for Blitzball and the Vegas stuff, right? We got together, we played Blitzball out there. We did some podcasts. We did the MLB The Show stuff. Just kind of showing you guys what else is out there and answering questions and kind of talking business and how to grow your brands. That's what I want to do. That's what Dugout Creative is. It's just, hey, let's do a bunch of cool baseball shit. And if you need some help, let's talk. Let's hang out.
Just like this. I mean, you came to me and said, I want to talk about baseball. I'm like, we're both baseball guys. I mean, it's, you know, this is a perfect example right here, what we're doing. So
yeah. I got some other crazy stuff. I tweeted out the other day about a DAO. You ever heard of a DAO? DAO?
DAO?
DAO.
A DAO, no.
A DAO. So, you know, I don't know how much you know, but I'm fascinated with what's coming with the metaverse, NFT, blockchain, crypto. I feel like there's a big shift in society coming. I feel like it's already here. We're just not paying attention to it.
Yeah.
A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. It means, think of it like the analogy that people use a lot is it's a group chat with a bank account. Not one person owns it. Not one person dictates what happens. It's a group of people that come together to create a set of rules. Those rules are embedded in code and stored on the blockchain. So if somebody wants to change the rules, you have to put it up to a vote. And if the majority vote, it changes the rules. And so, like, one of the crazy things I was thinking about is the DCCL, our creator league. What if we did the DCCL as a DAO where Dugout Creative doesn't own it? What we do is we put a group of people together and the community owns it. The community gets to dictate the rules. The community gets to dictate who plays in it. And it's all based on voting. They get to dictate what the winner gets. They get to dictate what the loser punishment is or whatever it may be. They get to dictate everything. And it's casted by vote. So like, let's say you're in the baseball community. You want to be a part of this. You join the DCCL DAO or whatever we end up calling it. And it's just an online community. You say, hey, I've got this crazy idea for a week build where like we did the Blitzball week, right? Let's say
Yeah, yeah.
you propose the Blitzball week. You would write it up in a little proposal. Hey guys, this is what I think would be cool. You submit it, and the entire community of the DAO votes yes or no on it.
Ooh.
So the community owns it.
Ooh. Well, and you'd obviously get a lot of involvement because the community would be dictating it, like you said.
Wouldn't that
So
be
I mean, a
wild?
lot of people would be interested in that.
And everybody shares and reaps the benefits from it too.
Right,
So,
right, right.
and then we can get into the nitty gritty and stuff. These are all these things that I'm researching right now. But then you throw in a coin. Maybe there's the DCCL, or the DCL is an actual token, and all of the participants in the DCCL receive a certain amount of tokens. And in order to vote, you have to hold a certain amount of tokens, or the winner of the entire league gets a bonus of X number of tokens. And those tokens can be redeemed for US dollars. And we can crowdsource and fundraise and bring in sponsors. And there's real money behind this.
Wow.
It's a wild idea.
Really interesting, yeah. But it's a good idea because I mean it would apply really well and the involvement would be off the charts.
Because everybody is part owner of it, right? Like
it's almost like that freaking fan run football league that they're
that's a DAO
right now.
Yeah, no, that's actually a DAO. A lot of people don't know about that, but that fan controlled football league is a DAO.
Yeah.
So people that contribute and create content for it or are helping with it are actually receiving benefits from it. And everybody has an incentive to make it grow and get better, because if it grows, they reap the benefits because they're holding a token. So everybody contributes to this DAO, and if the DAO does better, everybody thrives. It's a fascinating idea.
Really cool. That's really cool.
I went down the rabbit hole, and I been brainstorming this for a little bit. I haven't told you about it yet because
that's cool. I love that. I love it.
But yeah, a community controlled creator league where the community votes on everything.
I think people would be all over that.
Wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think they would.
How could that transform? I mean, let's even think bigger. Like, what if this is a crazy thought, but what if we created a DAO to buy a Major League Baseball team, where everybody, the entire community votes on who the GM is. Votes.
The Angels are selling. So.
Very true. Very true. No, I mean, these DAO ideas are just amazing. It's just a community of people that come together, and not one person owns it. It's for the benefit of the community. And honestly, that's a Dugout Creative. I mean, I'm very, very tempted to convert the whole goddamn thing to a DAO.
Yeah.
And make this whole baseball movement just, hey, we just want to create a bunch of fun things. Like, let's say you came to the community with an idea. You're like, hey, I want to run a blitzball tournament out in Colorado or wherever. Yeah. You pitch the idea to the community votes on it, and maybe they say no, maybe everybody votes yes, and they allocate funds that are raised, and we're like, here you go, Truman, like, let's go have some fun.
Yeah. I love it.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy stuff coming, man.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
But
I'm excited.
Yeah, the watch parties I think are going to be fun. Me, I've always got some crazy ideas, and we got some AI stuff brewing, and I mean, I can go on for hours about all the futuristic stuff, and that's what really gets me going is the future of things. I love trying new things and taking risks, and I'm not afraid to try new stuff, man. And I think that's a lot of people are afraid to try new things, maybe because they don't understand it or they don't want to take the time to research it. But I come up with an idea, I jump in, I research it, and I'm like, hell, let's go. Worst case scenario, nobody died. I mean,
yeah, no, absolutely. Why not? And then if you find one thing that sticks, then it's a success, right?
Yeah.
So I love it.
What are you most excited about? What are you most excited about coming up?
Well, I mean, now you got me excited about DAOs. But no, I'm excited just for everything, honestly. I mean, like, I don't mean to sound cliche with it, but I'm excited to start doing the watch parties. I'm excited to, for the future of this DCCL, everything, because nothing is ever the same as we've done it in the past, right? It's always bigger and better. So it keeps that excitement there, even for a creator like myself, because I don't even know what's in store. I don't know what's coming. So it's, the surprise factor, it's the intrigue, all the above. So I'm really excited for all of it, and I think perfect timing because unfortunately MLB is kind of on the downswing right now, and we're just getting later in the game cycle. So it's the perfect time to be doing stuff like this to keep it fun and interesting. So
It's that good old analogy or the good old mantra.
excuse me.
Bless you. I can't remember who said it. I'm paraphrasing. I might butcher it, but it was something along the lines of like, what got you here today won't get you there tomorrow.
No,
Things
absolutely.
change, right?
Especially with creators, stuff becomes obsolete. Everything's constantly changing, and there's always people that are coming that are trying to, essentially take your job, basically.
Well, I think the creator economy itself has a lot of fast followers, right? Because the barrier to entry is zero, right? Like everybody can be a creator nowadays. Everybody can be a streamer nowadays, which, you talk to anybody else, I think they might think differently. I think streamers and content creators are different. I think they're two different people.
I agree.
I think they share some similarities, but I think they're different.
It's different.
So everybody in today's age can be a streamer. Everybody can be a content creator. So the barrier to entry is zero. But
For sure.
somebody.
It just depends how successful you are with it.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. It just depends on.
Well, and success is subjective, right? Like what is
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
what is success to one person is not going to be the same to another person.
Correct. Exactly.
I think a lot of people are chasing views. And from what I've seen, kind of looking from the outside looking in, I pay attention a lot. I'm constantly lurking in your guys' streams and watching what's being posted and stuff. I study a lot of this stuff. And the one thing I see, somebody will do something and then the whole herd follows.
Yeah.
And so it's harder nowadays. Like everybody copies each other. There's not much creativity going around. I think creativity is kind of a lost art. I think everybody is just a fast follower. I think people do what others are doing because they think that's what's going to make them successful. And then you have to be constantly iterating and changing and trying new things, or you're stuck in the rat race trying to chase followers, trying to figure out an algorithm that nobody understands. Even the people that are writing the code don't even understand them. It's a weird dynamic right now. I feel like, specifically in MLB The Show, in that whole community, I know there's a lot of negativity going around right now, and I try to steer clear of it. I've muted a lot of people just because my Twitter timeline is so negative, but nobody's doing anything different. Like, I was a little bummed out. Like when we went to Tampa and we went to Vegas, you guys were all fired up about Blitzball, but I think Ray's the only guy doing anything Blitzball related. Like nobody's doing anything.
Yep.
So I'm waiting for somebody to try something new. I'm just sitting back going, God, you guys are all complaining about the game, but yet nobody's doing anything different. And I'm waiting for somebody to just be like, oh wow, that's pretty damn cool. Somebody's trying something new, or and streaming a different game is not something new. I think that's literally just being a streamer. You're just popping up a different stream and you're streaming. You're not creating any kind of content or anything like that. I'm interested to see where the community goes with this. I'm interested to see, because I think the game's dying out faster this year. So I remember we did the DCCL last year, later in the year, because we wanted to take advantage of that down cycle and give you guys an opportunity to continue to play the game, right? Because it gets old. And this year, I mean, God, it seems like it's months earlier that everybody's just kind of wanting to ditch the game.
I mean, we're still in August. Like, we're not even to the MLB postseason yet.
Well, last year, we actually thought about running the DCCL in August. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We were kind of thinking about moving it forward.
Like late summer. Yep.
And I'm glad we stuck with the time frame that we did. But yeah, I'm kind of sitting back waiting for somebody to do something different. Nobody's doing it yet. So I'm getting bored as a consumer watching the content. But Yeah, shoot. I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to kind of doing this. I don't know if this can be an everyday thing or if this can be like a 2 or 3 times a week thing. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of just picking a handful of topics, talking about it, giving our insights, and it'd be really cool to maybe live stream this, and we can get
I
Chad
agree.
involved and doing Q&As and stuff.
Yeah. Just an all around baseball podcast, whether it be MLB The Show, Major League Baseball, college baseball, whatever comes to our minds, whatever we want
Dows.
to discuss. That's the beauty of it.
Well,
Yeah,
we got
Dows.
baseball dows. What the hell is that?
Dows.
But
Whatever pops in our heads. That's the beauty of it. It's off
Yeah.
the wall.
yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, man. I know you got to get running.
It is a pleasure as always.
Let's. I don't know. When do you want to do this again?
Whenever you want.
Okay, maybe
Easy to find.
we'll chat a little bit. As soon as we end the stream here,
Yep.
we'll chat a little bit, try to figure this out. But yeah, man, I look forward to kind of making a more of an appearance too. I've been head down behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know who. Like, I remember when we first started Dugout Creative, people thought that it was just the group of guys like kind of created a fake name, and people were like, I didn't even know there was like a company behind it. So
Yeah.
that's something I've done such a terrible job at talking about it. So
Not at all. And it's going to, people are going to know. People are going to find out real quick. So,
yeah. Cool, man. Well, you have a good rest of the day. And for all the listeners, stay tuned, I guess. We'll figure out how often we're going to do this, and we'll have some fun with it.
yes, sir.
We'll definitely keep in touch with everybody. But until then, have a good one.
Peace.
See ya.